trying to save you some money, saying, I'm going to help you, just give me some money to compensate me for the time that I'm going to have to involve myself into your project. And I'm not going to stand around every week and say, hey, can you give me a check for $300 because I had to meet the homeowner or the inspector. I'm not doing that. That's just not realistic.
Right, but you're asking us to commit to a project that we don't know if we have the funds to do yet. So you're wanting us to pay for something that we may not end up doing. That's my issue.
Well, I do understand that. So we do need to know that we're going to do the project.
And we don't know we're going to do the project until we get the financing. We can't get the financing until we remove these issues immediately right up front, which is the electrical in that room and the staircase. So that's what I wanted to get a cost from you to finish. But you don't want to take that liability. You want the whole project, which I don't know how to do that because that isn't something that we have a bid for, or it's nothing we have the financing for right now. So I don't know how to work with that. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
I don't know. I think that the next step should probably be you call down there and ask them, is there any way that you can do owner builder?
I can't do an owner builder because you can't do an owner builder if you're planning on selling the property within like a year or something. You have to sign an affidavit.
That's true. You're right.
Okay, is there anything else that we should address that's relevant?
I think we're just talking about, first of all, what the next steps are and how El Fonte should be paid for those steps, right? I mean, if there's a way to break down just the initial, and maybe that's the thing. I hate to ask El Fonte if that's really going to give Robert the peace of mind to just say, okay, I'll bill you based on the hours that I perform. I don't know if that's something you really don't want to do. I understand that, but I'm trying to see if
yeah, that's not practical for a G8 or for El Fonte or for anybody.
Sure, I know.
Well, it is practical. It is practical if we're talking about the first initial step, these baby steps. That's not practical in the whole project, but we're not looking at the whole project right now. We're looking at trying to save this project by these two baby steps. So it is very practical for these two baby steps. So it is practical.
Well, I think the flip side of that, Robert, is, most contractors don't do what these little baby steps that we're talking about. And with that, it's about what exactly the scope of work that we anticipate El Fonte doing. And it can't be just the baby steps, right? I think
well, that's in the beginning. That is as far as we can see. We can only see to those baby steps. Anything after that, we have to see what happens during those baby steps before we can see what's going to happen later. So we can't go beyond that right now.
Do you feel that the whatever number is now, I don't know, the 3,000 or the 5,000 is something that is unreasonable for those baby steps?
I don't know what that is. I haven't gotten an understanding about what the 5,000's for specifically. It's very vague. It's about meeting with inspectors and making sure his guys don't do anything wrong. There's no specifics about what that is for specifically. So I don't know.
Again, it sounds, if I'm hearing correctly, El Fonte, it's really to get this property compliant, right? I mean, I don't want to speak out of turn because for all I know, that may be much more involved than what we think right now.
Right. So what it is the $5,000 and it's becoming smaller and smaller in my mind as we have this conversation more and more. But what it is there is to compensate me to have input in this project. So I don't know any other way to say it. It's putting me in the process with you.
I mean, I would prefer you say it the way you say it when you do another job. When you go and you bid for another job, I assume you give very specific, bid. You don't say you're going to pay me compensation for what I do for you. That's not what you tell other people when they hire you. You give them a bid.
These are moving targets. These are moving targets.
I don't know what that
Doing
means.
this since,
I think
well,
what
here's
Henry
something I
needs
know.
to do
He's been doing this
is
since
balance
2000. About that, I think you've been doing this before 2007. Am I correct?
Oh, four.
Was
I've been doing it before that, but I've been licensed and so forth. Yeah. So
You're talking you've done this multiple times.
No.
And they have made it work.
Yeah.
There's nothing you or I know that supersedes anything they know.
And I think that the hard part to understand here, Robert, is that it does seem weird, okay? And I know that. I understand it doesn't seem. And there is no reason for me to do this. So, and I know you're not getting that out of this. I'm throwing you a huge bone. Robert, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be involved. I really don't. I know that doesn't sound like I don't. It's not about the money. I mean, the money is just like, okay, pay me something, I'll get involved with you. It's really not something I want to be involved in. The only reason I'm involved in having the conversation is because Dominique is seeing her do a lot of business together. She's a great friend. It's not in my best interest to do this at all. I'm the only one who loses. I'm the only one whose neck is on the line. The only one. I have a professional responsibility to uphold this whole project. It's not just, we'll move these cords. I'm still on the hook for everything that goes on at that property. I know it's not resonating there, but I don't want to be on the hook. I don't want to be involved. I really just like, yes, in a normal scenario, I give you a bid, you take it or leave it. Maybe we negotiate, maybe we get, and there is we're going to do these baby steps. In your scenario, unfortunately, the city has tied your hands. You can't just do baby steps. You've got to comply with the entire project because they've already said your whole project is non-compliant. So if it wasn't that scenario, then yeah, you can say, Levante, can you come just pull electrical permit to move this stuff? Can you come pull plumbers? We can work it step by step. But the city has already said, we need you to I made a commitment when I talked about this permit with the city that we were going to do the entire project. That was the only way we got the permit approved. They weren't just saying, we're waiting to write a permit. No, it was a red flag. They did not want to do it. I had to go to Zoom. I had several calls back and forth. The final call was about a 3 or 4 hour call. And finally, after talking to her boss and everybody there, she said, we'll approve this, but you guys have to get this project all the way to compliance. I got one permit that says I will make this property compliant. There's no other middle step. There's nothing else. There's no, let's just call them out for plumbing. They're not going to come out just for plumbing.
Okay, so I mean that's what you put. You give us a contract saying that your fee is to make this property compliant. Whatever that means to the city.
Yeah. Okay.
So it becomes what it is.
That's what, and I'll write something to that effect, but when I pull the permit, that's what I'm saying. So whether you hear it or not, I'm saying that to the state of California.
Right, but that's your relationship with the state of California. If we're paying you, we need a contract with you directly with us, not your relationship with California. That's separate. There's two different contracts.
Well, but I think we're now really reaching, we're on the same page. I think if we can have something, it's going to be very straightforward in writing, just outlining that your services for X amount is going to be for the purpose of bringing this property towards compliance. I think if everyone, including you, Elvante, and Robert, feel comfortable with that, then let's do it. Because I think at this point we're now really at a critical juncture, and it's really important just to move forward. We've got to, whether it's baby steps or whatever it may be, but we got to keep moving forward. I know that both Dominique and I are here to support all of you in the process because, you know, it's a daunting road ahead.
All right, well, let's do it. I'll write you up something.
Yeah, we're all here to support you, Robert and Henry. He'll write up a proposal up to what it would cost to remove those code violations.
I think the summary here is Alvante is the expert. This is like if you have cancer and you don't want to have an operation, but you need to have it. It is not up to you to decide that you will not have it or how it will be done. He's been doing this over 20 years.
Right. And I mean, he's saying that you can also, right, I know, but he also said if there's another contractor out there or somebody else or you could do it on your own, he's saying he's okay with that. He was just helping in the process.
But you guys have a shorthand, you have a working relationship, and you know how to make this work.
Right.
So,
Alvante's already also started the process. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yes.
Right. You can end up spending more by starting from scratch.
This is like cancer. You do not like the process, but it has to be done. And I know because I know several people with it. I know 3 people going through it right now, and they see what's going on.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, let's.
Yeah, but we're not here to reinvent the process. It is what it is, and it has to be done a certain way.
Well, we'll look to Alvante as.
Thank you so much for taking on this call.
No problem at all. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'll get you guys something. I'll definitely work with you. That's fine.
Thank you.
Let's just figure it out. You're welcome. No problem.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thoughts on that?
Okay. Thank you so much, Alvante. I appreciate it. I'll be in touch.
All right. Well, call me back.
Okay.
Take care, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alvante.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Henry,
Okay, are we all
do you
still on?
remember when we had that guy come and do the windows that we had extended outside the lobby? All those aluminum windows, those small aluminum windows that were the side entrance to the lobby. Do you remember that? He was the guy from Mississippi. He came. He gave us the bid he was a guy from Mississippi because he was also from Mississippi because it was interesting because we had a conversation, right? He seemed very friendly, very nice.
My answer is I don't recall.
Okay, well, he came.
My answer is I do not recall.
Okay, he came. He gave us the bid to do all the work for that. It was like $5,000. Okay, he ended up being there for 2 hours and asked us to pay him $5,000. The way he had, right, you were there and it happened and you were just as surprised as I was because of the way he had worded and set it up. Basically, we got fucked.
Alvante and Dominique have been working together for years. This is not
I have a car. That's what I think you're not Robert. I have a property I'm listing. He just did all the plumbing, all the work for the electrical on this property. I work with him. He's a reasonable.
And did he charge you a $15,000 retainer fee?
No, he charged for what it was going to be for all the plumbing, electrical, and the work itself, and pulling the permit, and it was like $15,000 for that one section of the house that needed new plumbing and new electrical. Because the electrical is 100 amp panel, so he did it based on the entire project. And he charged and he had his guys there working, pulling the permit for the city, and he did that, yes. But your case is different because there's no code violations like on this other project. This was like a simple, straightforward, okay, we need to change the pipes that are from 1940, and we changed the plumbing pipes and the sewer line pipes. So he charged a fee for that work. It's different than this. This is a...
Did he do wine-ins?
Did he do wine-ins?
Mm-hmm.
He did not do wine-ins. No.
Who did wine-ins?
He did not do win-ins. I did win-ins. I pulled the permits. He came in after with that, with another gentleman named Tommy. But Tommy is too busy. He couldn't get involved. I asked him first. He's just too busy. But we didn't have any code violations. Again, it's the same thing. No code violations.
Upgrades.
Right, we're doing upgrades. So I work in a
What the fuck are you fucking? Yeah, y'all guys are just y'all are testing me. You're just talking gibbery. You have COVID. You just didn't pull a permit. You didn't get caught like you did here. That's what happened at Winans. There were code violations. You just didn't pull the permit and no one caught you.
No, you should look at the permit. You should look at
Oh no, there were permits on
permits on file. I'm sorry, there was a bill. It was just small. It was just, we pulled for air conditioning. We added air conditioning heater, kitchen remodel, and there was a bathroom addition.
Which involves electrical. All of those things involve electrical.
I guess it goes back to the thing. What do you want to do? I do think
I want to go back and have it done the way I told you to do it, which was to have it done with a permit originally. We would not be in this situation, Dominique, if you'd done what I told you to do. I specifically told you to do it with a permit because you said it would be to code. And I said, well, if you're going to be to code, then you need to do the permit. What is this? Why not do it? If you're already doing the code, make it official. And you said, oh, but it's so much trouble. We don't want to have the inspector here. So you ignored me and you did it your way, just the way you had the guys come and take all the construction stuff out of my unit, potentially exposing my stuff to be thrown away that was more valuable than you could ever imagine because you decided that you wanted to do it that way. And you overrode what I asked you to do.
Hey,
Okay, so wait, Robert. So the permit, we would have pulled the permit, right? And they would have come in. I removed the. If you wanted to do that, still the same. We should still pay the permit fee. It's no different.
It is different because now it's a code. It's a code. Don't again gibberish. You're telling me it's different. It's not different. It's very different to have a code violation substandard than to have a permit for electrical. Completely different situation.
stop, lower the volume. And number one, Dominique has no control over the guy coming to the property.
I didn't say she had control over it. I said she had a control over choosing not to follow my instructions, which was to pull it with a permit, to do the work with a permit. I was very specific with it. That is what she had control over.
As specific as you want. You can be as specific as you want. You have no control over the process, and neither does Dominique. Neither do any of us. You are not.
If the guy had came and we had a permit, this would not have happened. We would not have a substandard code violation.
No, but you have.
I don't have
That's not true, Robert, but I understand how you feel. I understand how you feel.
Somebody in the neighborhood apparently must have just called you out for whatever called
us out for doing work without a permit. If she had pulled a permit, there would not have been work without a permit.
This is not true.
Oh, God.
I saw the file when it went down. When he walked out of the room to go get Vicky's file, I flipped through the file. His complaint, it's an anonymous internet, and it was not about, quote-unquote, the work we were doing. It said multiple units, single family. This is what the complaint said. I saw it. It is not anything Dominique did not do.
I'm not going to argue the point anymore. It should have been done the way I asked it to be done.
That's right. That's right. Then stop arguing.
Henry?
Because you assume that you are right. Because you want to be belligerent about everything. Now, Monty has 20 years experience in doing this. You don't, and I don't. He has a working relationship with Dominique. They're trying to move it forward for your benefit, for everyone's benefit. No one is against you. He has a right to be compensated.
For specific work, not given a blank check for some vague description of some work that may or may not include something or something else. For looking over to make sure his guys do everything right. That is not a bid. That is not something you give someone $15,000 for.
Bring the property to code.
That's what I said. If he does that, fine. Bring the property code. We'll pay him compensation for that. That's what I said. That's not what he was suggesting.
Yelling. Stop talking over everyone. That is what he's aiming to do.
After I pressed
You
it.
don't want to believe that.
After I pressed it.
No. You think he's going to walk in halfway and then walk out halfway?
That's what the other guy did. The other guy walked in for 2 hours and wanted $5,000.
Yeah, he's not.
Do you remember Ted? Do
So,
you remember Ted, the first contractor we had, Dearborn? You didn't deal with these contractors, Henry.
Dominique, I'm sorry, you were saying?
no, I said I'm sorry you had these negative experiences.
Yeah.
With these contractors, but I've worked
Almost
with
no one has a good
multiple
experience with
projects.
a contractor. That's the answer. But I'm glad that you work with Alvante and you have your working relationship and you have your shorthand and you know how to get things done.
Right, and if Alexandra, if you know somebody else that can do this, we can certainly consult with them.
There's no reason to start looking at somebody else.
I agree with that in the sense that also it's just kind of it's starting from scratch, and I think you'll end up then spending more money. So I think, given the fact that Alvante does have the experience, the expertise,
He has experience. Thank God he even wants to step in. As he said, he didn't want to, but he will. Thank God.
and there's a historic working relationship with Dominique. He knows the property now, and I mean, Robert, in the end, we're not committing to any big undertaking at this point. For now, it's a fee to make sure that we reach the compliance,
Well,
and then
his neck is on the line. He's not going to walk out and do some shoddy job. He said flat out he's liable.
And of course,
He knows how this
Dominique and I will be here to also make sure that everything is being handled as it should. Even though I'm sure it will be.
I know, I'm not,
Yes, trust in the process a little bit.
I think so, yes. And I think I understand Robert's frustration and anger.
Absolutely.
And I get it. I get it that you're angry and frustrated. Maybe we should have, sold the house as is with all of those renovations there. But we did. When we uncovered, there was mold, there was all kinds of things. You didn't have a staircase before. You did a lot of work to the house to put it back into a single family unit. So if it was a multifamily violation, you removed, there was a lot of, unfortunately, water. There was a plumbing pipe that had spilled all the way through there, and they removed all of those areas. No plumbing was actually done on the house. They just removed what was existing, the bathroom that was put in there, and the shower.
Or 10% of the contract price,
What?
whichever is less is the key. Which means if your contract is $1,000, what's your down payment? $100, which is 10%. When your contract is $50,000, what's your down payment? $1,000. Because it cannot exceed $1,000. 10% of 50,000 would exceed the $1,000.
Hello? Nobody can hear what you're
The limitation in California for deposit on contractors is $1,000. If it's a $50,000 job, the limitation is $1,000. Not 10% of $50,000, $1,000.
You would have to buy
Stop
materials.
doubting Alvante. No one is going to step in.
Yes, because of what we're in.
The people you had come and take a look, you said did not even get back to you. You're not going to find somebody off Yelp. Thank God Alvante will step in. You have to just stop doubting
Henry,
everyone.
pay the man whatever you want to pay.
By law, but the state says many of them don't, and that
Do it like you've done everything else this entire time that you've been in charge, and just screw us further down the ground like you've done everything else.
Yep, that's why I said everything wrong. Thanks. Okay, don't worry, then we will.
We're trying to get the property into shape where you.
I'm simply trying to protect our legal responsibility and make sure we get what we're paying for instead of just paying money for something that we're not going to get. Okay? All I've asked is for everyone else who would do the same thing. They want a contract saying what they're paying for. They're not just giving a blank check that is over the legal limit that is allowed in California for someone to take for a contractor and have nothing in return saying what we're paying for. You can call me crazy, but I'm not going to do that.
Well,
They're
here's
not
the,
such terms.
okay.
Alfonte is not suddenly going to rip Dominique off.
Then why is he asking for something that's not legal? He's not legally allowed to take more than $1,000, period.
Regardless of your paranoia, he is not going to submit.
Henry, it's not paranoia. That is directly from the state of California licensing department. It's CSLP, California Contractor License Educational. That's it. It's from the horse's mouth.
I think the challenge here is that we're not talking about a bid in the traditional sense that comes from a contractor. And that's the challenge where I think
He's a general contractor. He has to abide by general contractor rules. And that is the rule for general contractors.
well,
Why didn't you go find a contractor with the $1,000 deposit?
Henry, I'm not saying that I can. I'm simply telling you that.
if we
In.
do you think that's
Just
what
put the
we
tip
do?
in. That's
About and pull it back to it.
down the, that's something that we could do, but we don't do that in. What is this? I don't understand this. What is this? I don't understand this. But I can't imagine.
They don't have that on
So,
their-
what is this? I don't understand this extra cost for doing it with an inspector. Is it that his time to come for that day to be there when the inspector signs off? I don't think he has to be there when the inspector signs off.
Multiple times. They're going to come through several things. They're going to go through a lot
For
of
the
things with the house.
for relocating the electrical panel?
So relocating the electric panel is nothing. He
Right.
can do the work.
That's what I want him to sign. What is this? I don't understand this extra cost for doing it with an inspector. Is it that his time to come for that day to be there when the inspector signs off? I don't think he has to be there when the inspector signs off.
Multiple times. They're going to come through several things. They're going to go through a lot
For
of
the
things with the house.
for relocating the electrical panel?
So relocating the electric panel is nothing. He can
Right.
do the work.
That's what I want him to have the permit signed off on. That's it. That and the stairs. And that's it. That is it. The stairs, the work he has done.
But that has nothing.
I don't care. I'm not going down that road with you, Dominique. Okay. I want him to get the permit on the electrical panel signed off, and the staircase. We want to finish that with the railings and get the city to sign off on that before we move on to anything else.
So if Henry we have some money, we can do the stairs and do the railing. We can do those things. If there is money, we can do those things. We can continue. But the reason why we were going back and forth with Revive is because I thought there was no money to do so. So I didn't proceed again, right? I didn't proceed with any of those things. And we've had multiple meetings with Revive. I don't think I must have had 8 or 10 calls with them back and forth. It's not as if we were twiddling our thumbs doing nothing. And you can, all of those conversations, Henry was trying to get the reason Revive had an issue in the beginning was that there was, we were back. We had a debt still owing on that. Payments were incurrent. So all these things took time to rectify. But it wasn't like we could have proceeded, but I thought there was no money to proceed to do the work, to put the railing in and all those things. But if there is money to do it, we can certainly do it. But everything costs. So that's the reason is that all these things need to get done, and I'm happy to do them. Absolutely. But they cost money. They're not for free.
But we've already paid for them.
We paid for the work. It was not yet signed off.
Right.
Alfonte got Alfonte got the new permits that have moved us forward. We have not done anything on quote unquote.
There were no permits on the city's on building and safety. There's no new permits.
Yes, there are permits.
He went down. I'm sorry. He had a conference call with them.
Yeah, that's different than pulling the permits.
They issued a permit based on the conference call with him. He asked to be paid. Now, to be perfectly honest, as I look back on it, because I was going to bend mine, he asked to be paid $700 for the permits, and the total fee to as a retainer going forward, including the permit, was $3,500. He is not.
That's if he came on there, right, and started dealing with the inspector, right?
Yes, but to be honest, I actually have to pay him for the permit because if
so he wants $3,500 to be there when the inspector looks at the work he did for the electrical panel and says,
Not just
okay.
for the electrical,
this is to move forward. It's not unreasonable to ask
Right.
for
It's a retainer.
Okay,
is what you're saying.
we're making it more complicated than it needs to be. Right now, we need to focus on small pieces, okay? We're not doing well with the big picture here, okay? We need to do the little things. We need to get him to come, be there for the inspector to sign off on the work he did with the electrical panel. And to sign off, we need to spend the money for the railings and have that signed off. And one doesn't have to, they don't have to be done together. He can come and do the permit for the electrical panel, and then we can do the staircase. Because I'm telling you, that electrical panel could have issues.
Well, I think based on what I'm understanding, he will require a retainer in order to do those things.
But we've already paid him for the panel. Why does he need a retainer? He's not doing any more work. He's simply being there to sign off on the work he did because it was supposed to be done with a permit.
Well, the permit is now
it was supposed to be done to code. Okay?
He didn't change the panel. The panel is the same as it was
He
before.
relocated the panel.
Correct. So if you want him to come and do that and sit there with us, but he's only going to do it for the electrical. He was only paid for the electrical.
That's what I need him to do. That's one thing we can check off because we will know at that time if we have a problem with the electrical. Because if not, then we get the electrical removed.
Hold it. You need to watch your tone. You can say whatever you want.
I keep repeating and you're not listening to me, and it makes me upset because we're here and I've told you guys so many times of these things and they're coming back up again and you're not taking my advice.
I totally support and understand you, Robert. We're going to we just got to figure it out, and let's take it, like you said perfectly, we'll take it one step at a time. So maybe the way to do this, per your recommendation, is we just have Alvante work on the electrical piece to get that approved, and then have the inspector come, and then we take it from there. Yes. I think...
And then we have the money for the stairs, we do the stairs, and then we address the multiple unit thing, and we get more details, but then hopefully we will see if he will, in the meantime, close out the violations that we have now and open up new ones, which will maybe be less offensive to these companies that do the construction because they won't have any prior work on them and they won't be substandard. That's the best we could do. If you have a more proactive way of doing this that is actually doing something and not just hoping and praying to the stars that someone's going to come down and fix it for us, I'm open to it. But we keep kicking the ball down the stream, and it's been 6 months. We keep kicking it. No one is going to fix this for us.
Well, let's move forward with that proposal. I think that, and I don't know if, Henriette, I want to speak on your behalf, or Dominique, but why not have Alvante come in, handle the electrical permit, get that cleared, and then it's a conversation to be had with the inspector as to what the next steps are.
Yeah, we can just pay him, but he will not handle anything else. I'll just talk to him about the electrical. But we still have a problem with Revive because Revive, Robert, they saw the condition of everything. They were talking.
I think Revive's out of the picture.
Yeah, they're out. and you can talk to them. It doesn't have to be Alexander and I. You're welcome to call people. This is like you are.
I have called. I do call people, but
No.
but it doesn't matter who I call. If we use Revive or we use Castilia or whatever the hell they're called, it doesn't matter. They're all going to have the same situation. They have limitations. They're called heavy renovation limitations. That's what the technical term is for these loans, where they don't want to go into properties that have a beyond surface area, repairs. And the salespeople can tell you they do permits, they do all this kind of shit, they do ADUs, they do everything, but they're fucking lying. They're just telling you what they want to tell you because they don't underwrite the proper. They don't underwrite the loans. They're the face.
Hold on. Robert, keep the volume down, please.
I think
Everything you're saying is perfectly fine and legit. Just keep the volume down.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
I yell when I it's a habit. I don't know why I do that. It's just.
Well, I know it's
fine.
it's frustrating and it's exasperating, but know that we are here 100%, 150% to support you. So I think the next step is, again, we got to do it in baby steps, and I do think maybe that is the approach, unless you want to talk to some potential developers who can take it all on, but they will not be there to give you a price that is in your favor. I can guarantee that. So I think,
Yeah, but that's
this
kicking it
idea-
down. That's something that we could do, but we don't do that instead of doing what we can do. We do what we can do, and we look for other
Absolutely.
options at the same time. We don't just
Absolutely.
pray to the God that someone's going to save us. It's not going to happen. We do what we can do, and then we look for other things at the same time. We will talk to the Moss guy. We will talk to Alex. We will pursue those things, but we have to start doing these things, or we're going to run out of time.
Well, then I think the next course of action is to talk to Elvante. Dominique, if you think he's willing and
If you
able
just-
to...
Yeah, I mean, all he's going to do is do the electrical, and I'm happy. I'll pay him to do it, and he can do it. He doesn't work for free, but I will cover that cost. But the thing is, I know when the inspector comes, I've done this over and over, they're going to look at other things.
Yeah, but
Robert,
what are you
you should be
suggesting
there.
what are you
I'm
suggesting, Dominic,
that Robert,
for
you
that
should
not to
be
happen?
there. I'm suggesting that when the inspector comes, you should be there to meet with him.
No, obviously I
You're the
will.
homeowner.
I will. But I
You'll
mean,
be there.
I don't see a
Exactly.
way for
And
that
you can-
not to happen. I don't see how we can get this done without dealing with the inspector.
I know. The
I don't-
problem is the money to do all the other things, to put everything back and sell the home is the challenge. We need to come up with the money. But I'm happy to talk to him as long as we pay him back the permit fee. I will cover the cost for him to come. He will do the electrical. But when he comes, the inspector's going to go over everything else in the house, and you should be present for that.
Well,
That way there's no...
we don't know for sure he will go through everything in the house. He may come sign off on the permit, but he potentially could see other violations. But it's not a requirement that he walks through everything. We don't want to suggest that he do that. We just want to have him sign off on the
You're
permit.
going to look around the room.
Yeah, obviously, but we don't want to
They're gonna
invite
see
him to
there's
do
no
it.
windows. There's no windows on the door.
Right, but we're not
Everything's
asking him to
open.
sign off on the windows. We're only asking him to sign off on the electrical panel. That's it.
That's fine. He's just gonna sign off on the
Oh,
electrical
but
panel.
Henry, this is I need something. Okay, so we received a promotion for Renewal by Anderson, which are their kind of like their replacement product for their windows and doors. It's not like their architectural side. It's more like for quick replacing. It's not for new construction. But we have 40% off windows and doors, and no money down, no monthly payments, no interest for 12 months. Do you want the phone number to call them?
Oh, just text it to me.
Because
Or look it up online.
I'll give you the phone number because it expires. It says it's good through January 27th. So we don't have a few more days. So the phone number is
You can't
626.
honestly believe those promotions expire. Go on.
Do you have something better? I'm not saying
No,
it's guaranteed,
I'm
but
not-
we don't have any. I don't have a whole stack I can go through. This is the one I have. This is the one we deal with. This is what we have, Blanche. You're in a wheelchair. This is it. Okay,
Hold on, what's the number?
626-478-0034. So that is for the patio doors that would be needed for the bond, for bond, for the lobby, or which is in the new kitchen area, I guess, and for potentially for the 2 guest houses, because those garage doors are not to code, so they would need to be sliding doors as well. So there's a lot of big doors. So
So one thing I'll tell you, just so you know, one thing I'll tell you about the inspectors. When Vicky and I went down, he was very nice and whatever. Whether it's true, he said, "I'm not going to look at anything I don't need to."
Right,
Okay,
I know
let me
that.
just tell you that.
I know that, but he can't ignore a garage door. He can't ignore a garage door.
He is not going to go into white. And actually, when he walked into Juanes, if you remember, thank God I had the curtains on the inside instead of the outside. And he only saw curtains. He did not see the garage door. You know, that's not to say he won't go back in and see them, but whatever.
He was on the outside of Juanes, he's not on the inside.
He went into Juanes. But the sheer curtains, I had... I had them on the inside, so they were blocking the garage door.
Right.
He did not.
Well, I mean, the 2 doors for the 2 studios are only a small fraction of the overall cost that we're going to incur. But the thing is, if we can have it no money down, no interest payment, we should address it, because there's a limited window of time based on this, if it's true or not, by January 27th to take advantage of the promotion. So we might as well have it as an option. We get them out there, we get the estimate, and then we can pursue down later. By that time we would have the inspector here, and we'll kind of fill out what he's going to have requirements are, but we won't miss the promotion. That's what I'm saying. We just make sure we keep all these juggle all these elements to make sure that we don't drop any balls. Because we don't have the money for all these windows. We have to have it financed. There's no money for all these patio doors. So all these openings have to be financed. That's a big chunk of the renovations that we're looking at. So that's why this is important.
Well, and to both your points, Henry and Robert, I think that the idea here is, with regards to Alvante clearing the permit on the electrical and you both being present with the inspector, is to simply then say, okay, what is it that you now need from us in order to be fully compliant and to remove this substandard notice?
Right, exactly.
And then go from there. But I don't know what the timeline is. Dominic, maybe you have a sense of that with regards to getting the electrical cleared. Is that something that can happen relatively quickly?
If it's to code, it should be only a matter of this week. If it's to code.
Yeah, but so one problem is, I just texted Alvante when we were on the call. He said he never paid the permit fee.
That's what I told you. That there was no permit.
He never paid the permit fee, so we have to pay that. He never paid.
Is the permit application open or something, then? I thought he got it.
No, he didn't. He
said he did get it, but he didn't pay for it because he didn't receive the money.
Got it.
He said you should pay for it online.
Right. Okay. We're back to that again, Dominique. He needs to do it.
Well, but that's easy.
He needs to do it.
Paid.
Henry's not going to pull an owner's permit. He's not going to do it.
Okay, well,
he can't do it.
Can do it.
By legally, he cannot do it.
Right.
So he needs to be fronted the money to pay the permit. That's what we're saying.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm asking him, but he thought that he was going to get reimbursed, and he said he just never followed up.
We will pay him for the permit, but he has to do the permit in his name as the contractor because he's doing the permit.
I believe it was $700.
Yeah, I think that's
for the electrical, right?
Fire station.
For just the electrical, Henry.
Hold on. When he was on the phone for like an hour with whoever, going through everything, he said that the cost of the permit is $700.
The permit for the remodeling, you need an entire permit from the city.
I don't know.
Yes, and so
I don't know if I can add a third person. This is him calling me. You want me to try?
He's calling you now?
You should be able to.
Let me see if I can add another person.
Oh, Henry, I was talking to Alexandra about the fact that we should move the guys from Bamboo to the studios here so we can rent out Bamboo and get the income so we're not losing money every month.
The only place it could be moved is White.
And Juana's.
And where are you going to go?
I'll go somewhere. But only if we have bookings there for them.
Yes. So
Hi,
this,
I spoke this with Alvante. I hope we can all be on the call together.
I'm here. Hey guys, how are you?
hey, happy
Hello.
New
Hi,
Year.
Alvante.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, yes.
Okay,
Good,
so
good.
I kind of briefed him on our call, but Alvante, you were on the call so go ahead and kind of tell them what happened. Robert needs to kind of understand the background in Henry, so if you could share that with them again.
Okay, so how are you guys? So the question was about a permit for just moving the panel. Is that the question?
Yeah, because we're trying to just eliminate those violations because those are issues that the people who do the financing have issues with those open permits. So we want to try to eliminate those open permits specifically without going into the larger renovations yet.
Okay, so with regards to the panel, just one thing at a time. The electrical panel, when I originally started the process for the building permit, they told me that they would not give me a permit to just move the panel over 2 feet. There's no permit for that. Now, there is no open permit for that. There's no need to pull a permit for that. Your electrical panel is not in violation. There is no need. It's like trying to fix a flat tire that's not flat. There's nothing with the panel. They're not even concerned with the panel. So with the permit that we did pull, which has not been completely pulled, is to eradicate the code violations, which are the unapproved or unpermitted plumbing and all the other issues. So the panel is nothing. They don't even care about the panel. They won't even. I tried to get a permit for a panel. They don't have a permit to move the panel over 2 feet. And the lady kind of laughed at me. She was like, "Why would you need a permit to move the panel 2 feet? And the panel is not in violation." That's not the issue. The
Okay,
issue
so
is,
it's on the notice to comply. It said electrical work done without a permit. So how do we address the electrical work done without a permit on the notice to comply?
that is all of the other stuff. They're not talking about the panel.
Oh, God.
They're talking about the entire building that's got wires hanging out of the ceiling and plugs in places that aren't supposed to be there. They're not talking about the panel. That's not what the issue is.
Oh, that's interesting.
The issue is all of those non-compliant rooms that have electrical in them, that have plumbing in them. So that is the non-code electrical that they're talking about. They're not talking about the panel at all.
And they specifically expressed that to you and stated that to you, Alvante? Because it's not really clear on the actual violation.
Yeah, and they did, and let me, I'll go even further to say, the conversation that I had with her was, they're not signing off any electrical anything unless all the electrical has been addressed. So even if I did, I was like, can we get a permit for the panel? She's like, we don't have a permit just for the panel. And I said, well, you know, what do we do? So she's like, you guys have to go and fix all this other electrical issues. So let's say in a scenario where they would give me a panel permit. They're not going to come in there and say, oh, we're just going to sign off the panel and all this other stuff is fine. That is never going to happen. That's not even an option. So what they're worried about is all that other non-compliant electrical in all the other areas. They don't know about those lights in the ceiling, whether or not they're compliant. They need to have all that stuff inspected. The last thing they're worried about is the panel. They're not even thinking about the panel.
Okay.
Not even, they don't even have that on
So,
their list.
The inspectors, when Vicki and I went down,
if it's
Yeah,
the
no, I
code,
just-
it should be only a matter of this week. If it's the code,
You're correct. You're absolutely right. Removing it is correcting it.
Right.
Yes. They're not signing off any
from the
They're not signing off any electrical anything unless all the electrical has been addressed. So even if I did, I'm like, can we get a permit for the panel? She's like, we don't have a permit just for the panel. And I said, well, you know, what do we do? So she's like, you guys have to go and fix all this other electrical issues. So let's say in a scenario where they would give me a panel permit. They're not going to come in there and say, oh, we're just going to sign off the panel and all this other stuff is fine. That is never going to happen. That's not even an option. So what they're worried about is all that other non-compliant electrical in all the other areas. They don't know about those lights in the ceiling, whether or not they're compliant. They need to have all that stuff inspected. The last thing they're worried about is the panel. They're not even thinking about the panel.
Okay.
Not even, they don't even have that on
So-
their list.
Does the panel even need to be addressed?
Not at all. Not at all. It's nothing to address. We moved the panel like 2 feet. They don't even care about that. It's not even on their radar.
Okay, so the only electrical work that was done without a permit would be the electrical that's in the bathroom that we removed. So we would remove those wires, that electrical work that is no longer there for the bathroom, which is no longer there.
Yes.
And then we can have them come and sign off, see if they'll sign off on the electrical.
Right. So and that's what you have to do. So you have to pull all that stuff out and pull it back to its original state.
There was no original state. We just removed the electrical outlet that was there for the bathroom, and that's it.
Right. So that would be putting it back to its original state.
Right.
So you'd be putting it back to the way that it was. So by taking that outlet out, you'll be putting it back to the way that the city recognizes it being when the last time they
So
inspected
I guess what
structure
we
was
would need,
probably 30 years ago.
we would need an idea of a cost and time for you to come, have your guy come in and do a walkthrough of the area and just eliminate those things that are obviously going to be issues, so that we can have the guy, the inspector come in and hopefully sign off on the electrical issue. So that's what we should
They
do.
have to be corrected first. I think
They
is
have to
what
be corrected,
Elsie is saying. They have to be corrected first.
Well, there's correcting means
Correct.
removing it. We're not replacing it. We're just removing it.
Removing it. You're correct. You're absolutely right. Removing it is correcting it.
Right.
Yes.
So we don't need it replaced. We just simply need him to, do a scan as far as things that he sees that would be violations that the inspector would see. Outlets that obviously aren't there for a purpose anymore and need to be removed. If is there anything wrong with the hand lights? We would address that. But other than that room where all that demo was done, everything else in the building is original. It would be hard for him to find something that isn't. I'll phrase it like that.
Right.
There may be outlets here and there, but they look like all the other outlets, except for that room that we're talking about where the demo was. That's blatant that there are issues there. So we just need to clear out those issues in that 12 by 12 room. And that's it. And then we hopefully can have the inspector sign off on the electrical.
Yeah, well, that theoretically that would be it. If in fact if he would sign off on
Right.
it. I don't know that that's going to be the
Yeah,
case.
we don't know that. We're just
And-
trying to make the best of a worse situation because we need to eliminate those three things: the electrical, the staircase, and then we're going to have to directly get some sort of feedback from him as far as what we need to do to eliminate the multiple use of a single family when it's not multiple use anymore because there's no one living there, and we removed the wall that was separating it, so it's not multiple use technically. So that's we have to deal with him on that, but we need to address the staircase, railing, get that done, and the electrical issues because those are specifically on the notice to comply. Everything else on the notice to comply is very vague, and we'd have to get input from him to rectify it. But those two things we can hopefully address and get some, sign off from him, hopefully, before we move on to the other work that he might find.
Well, but
I'll show you.
Did they very specifically outline plumbing, first of all, on the violation, and second, to you in person?
So this is no, they didn't. So let me tell you what the problem is that we're going to run into. Right now, and this is back about a month and a half when I tried to apply for the permit. The person that was willing to give me the permit, kind of after me talking to them for 3 or 4 hours, gave us a permit. And they are very unclear as to all of the code violations. And if they had pulled up all the code violations, they probably would have gave me a harder time getting the permit. So the permit that I have applied for, which has not been paid for, it's just in an application status, is enough to give us, if we do complete that application, the ability to go work.
Is it just a general renovation permit, right? Like a renovation or something?
Yeah. That's it, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so when they come back in there, they can require more, right? They can condemn the building. They can do a whole lot of stuff. Once we go right now we can go fix it, and they're gonna let us work. But if we go in there and say, hey, why don't you come check out these plugs, and then they condemn the building, now we're in a worse scenario. Right now you got a very inexpensive scenario. If they condemn the building and say, because it's not, in their eyes, it's not livable. They're just not on paper saying that yet to kind of be nice. But if we get them over there, I can't guarantee that they will, but based on my conversation, the lady was like, yeah, I'm going to give you this permit, but you guys need to fix all this other stuff. So when I call her and say, hey, can you sign off on this electrical, she's gonna look at that as me playing games with her, and she's going to shut the whole project down, and then you got a whole other situation, which is a condemned building. So now, we don't want to do that. And the reason I say it's condemned because you can't live in there. It's not a living situation, and they can easily say that because of the time that we've had and the condition of the residents. So I don't know. I don't want to advise you and tell you what to do. I would just fix everything we need to fix that we could. And so if you want to just pull the electrical out, fine.